2NURFM 103.7. Always a pleasure to have this next gentleman with us. Every second Monday we get a little sciencey, and today he'll actually be a little bit of a... I'm not sure if this is going to be a little bit of a magic trick. John O'Connor out of the University of Newcastle. Good morning.
Good morning, Mark.
Now, but first you got a hello. You got to say we get this out of the way first.
Good morning to all our listeners, and a special good morning to Lily.
Very good to have you with us too, Lily, today. Now, John, it's a bit of a magic trick, a bit of a three-card Monty going on, but what happens when we actually look out and see some of these ships on the ocean? It looks like they're hovering, but that can't be right, can it?
No, it's interesting. In fact, this hit the internet just recently because someone took a wonderful picture of a ship that seemed to be floating above the ocean. He saw it over in Devon, but it happens around the world. In fact, quite often in the area around Italy. It's got a particular name there, but it's how can you actually see a ship floating above the ocean? And the answer is that it comes about because of a condition where you get two different layers of air, warm and cold, and the light from the ship that was being reflected from the ship, which was going up initially into the sky and you wouldn't have seen, is bent over by this mix of these two separate layers. The light gets bent around and focused back downwards towards you. And because it's coming down when you see it, your eyes and your mind extrapolate backwards and think that the image is in the sky. And so it doesn't happen every day, but it always requires these two different layers of air. But it's not uncommon in the sense that there are many ways we can do this, not only with light, but also with sound. Where I live, I can sit on my front veranda at some times of the year and hear very loud traffic noise from a great distance away, other times none at all. And that's because sound is also bent the same way by this light.
It's kind of like our mind is sort of playing tricks on us a little bit. And again, in your case where you live with the sound and the light as well. And as you were mentioning that, I was thinking I used to live kind of near a railway. When I say near a railway, quite a long way away. And sometimes you'd hear the train and think, hang on, how's that even happening? Because it's that a long way away.
That's right. It's because of the temperature effects. So you've got these two different layers of air, hot and cold. In fact, the Italians have a name for this. It's called the Fata Morgana. And which is actually...
You got to say that slow, haven't you?
Well, it's actually the Italian version of Morgan Le Fay. And anyone who's a King Arthur fan, the Chronicles of King Arthur, she's the sorceress in those tales. And the Italian sailors used to believe that this was magic. There was a ship above the ocean. And of course, sailors often get to see these out in the ocean all the time. And in fact, this is also believed to be where the legend of the Flying Dutchman came from, the ship that flew on the clouds and didn't, it was a sign of impending doom to sailors. But the fact that you could see this image above the sea, it clearly was a ghostly ship, an unnatural thing. It's something that is more common than we think of, and in fact, you can also see it, as you mentioned, you can see it on the roads. On a really hot day, you look in the distance and it looks like there's water on the road, but that's actually the same effect. You can see it there. You can see it lots of different places.
I imagine you're out in the middle of the desert or something. This is what a mirage is.
Is exactly what a mirage is, and in fact, it can send an image a very large distance. So it doesn't just it can make something which is a really great distance away still be focused to you and appear to be much closer. So it gives the oasis is just over the next sand dune. Forget it; it's kilometres away. You got to die before you get there.
Unless you actually see too many cartoons for me. Unless you see the palm tree in the middle of it, forget it. It's not a real thing.
That's it.
All right, Professor of Science at the University of Newcastle. It's always a pleasure. John O'Connor, we'll talk to you in a fortnight.
Thanks, Mark.
2NURFM, a broadcast service of the University of Newcastle.